Zoom will open, and then also we'll go live on Facebook in just a minute. But while I have everyone in person here, just a couple of announcements. The first of which is that because it's going online, we really want to try and minimize any disruptions. So if you have any phones or mobile devices, if you could just check that they are on silent, that would be very, very helpful. Yeah. The other thing is that later on, after the talk, there will be a Q&A session, and so we really encourage you to think about questions about studying at NUS, at FASS in English, or about the talk in particular. And if you do have any questions, please feel free to use the microphones that are along the aisles. So this is also to ensure that people online can hear the questions. Yeah, so we'll be starting in just about a minute, yeah, and then we'll go from there. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, good. Yeah. Thank you. You can hear me, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Okay, so hello to everyone in person as well as online. Welcome once again to the NUS Open House 2022 and to the College of Humanities and Sciences. Yeah, very glad to have you here. Now, we're gonna have our masterclass in just a minute, but before that, if you have any questions during the talk about the content matter of the talk or about studying at NUS in general. If you're online on Zoom, please feel free to use the Q&A function to ask your question, and you can see other people's questions as well. And then we'll get to those at the end of the session. For those of you who are here, of course, yeah, please feel free to use the microphones that are in the aisles to ask your questions. Yeah, so without further ado, I'd like to introduce Prof. Mie Hiramoto, who is from our English language department. She's going to be talking about language, gender, and sexuality. Yeah, so thanks everyone. Please go ahead.
Okay, great. Thank you. Hi, everybody can hear me? Yeah, good. Thank you. I just didn't know if, does this have a speaker view?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay, that's fine. If it doesn't?
The view is...
If it doesn't, that's great. Yeah, thanks, yeah. Mark, I have it here, so no worries. All right, so let me just get this ready. In a minute, I will open my notes so I can speak properly to you. Cool. All right. So I think some more people coming in. Hello, welcome. Okay. Thanks, Mark, for the introduction. My name is Mie Hiramoto, and it's very nice to see you all. Thank you very much for coming to NUS Open House 2022. Despite this, in the middle of the COVID, life goes on, so we have to move on. And we are very much interested in welcoming the next year's cohort to join us and learn together about what we feel very strongly about. So many people ask me, oh, are you from the Japanese department? I'm not. Right? So I am actually a social linguist, and I study English linguistics. And of course, I do some things about Japanese language too. So I'll be talking about that today with you. Yeah. I'd like to give you some information about why do we have to pay attention to language, gender, and sexuality studies. language, gender, and sexuality is an interdisciplinary field of research that is a study of language use in relation to people's gender relations, gender practices, sexuality, among other things. So it's a very important field of study in linguistics, and many scholars have been working very hard in this field by conducting and publishing their research on relevant topics, such as inclusivity, social justice kind of things have been very important in nowadays. And that's very much in the heart of what we do, right? And so there are many different journals out there. There's two just focuses on gender and language issues or language and sexuality. And I just happen to be editors. I mean, one of the editors for these journals. Yeah. So if you're interested in what goes on in a field, there are information out there. Now, many people have their own ideas concerning language, gender, and sexuality issues, which may or may not agree with other people's ideas. Why are there different opinions or practices about how language is or should be used, depending on the speaker's gender? In many cases, they are concerned with language ideologies surrounding gender and sexuality in our society. My approach to language-based research on gender and sexuality is concerned on raising awareness of inclusivity and celebrating individualities beyond essentialism based on traditional gender and sexuality essentialism or dichotomous ideology that's pretty much engraved in our cultural sense-making framework. So if I say things like this, you may think, well, so what am I talking about? So I'm talking about language and gender and sexuality. Gender and sexuality do not happen once you hit puberty or you become old. Young children are highly aware of sexuality, meaning that what kind of people they are supposed to like or not like. So this, desire to be with opposite gender or same gender. So these things people have from very early on. I think you can remember, some of you 20 years ago, some of you more than 20 years ago, when you are in kindergarten, you are making fun of your friends, saying that, oh, you and that person are the girlfriends and boyfriends. So that gives you an idea how we are aware about these things, and people have different ideas, right? I'm gonna go in and talk about how language is involved with some examples. People tend to believe that there is a female domain and male domain in our society. And they think, okay, so this is people's ideologies, yeah? So then, yeah, so this is, male domain, female domain distinctions that people think that exist. And people tend to think these are traditional, normal, or even natural. A good example is gender division of labor. But now, it's very different. Maybe the division of labor worked better for hunters and gatherers, for physical capability and different reasons. But today, it doesn't really make a difference for a men's occupation and women's occupation, right? So what can we say about this in relation to language is that gender division actually put a lot of lexical items in our vocabulary today. So job titles, a lot of them tend to have man as a suffix. So for example, here we see businessman, chairman, councilman, and with that, the feminist movement, people started talking about gender equality and started adding woman as a suffix. So if you hear things like a businesswoman, it sounds okay. We tend to think, oh, it's more, equal non-biased, but not all terms work like that. So here we see examples like fireman. But if you say a firewoman, it's not very settling, right? So this woman suffix has a limit due to the semiotic or the semantic transparency reasons, right? So if we really want to push for gender equality, then maybe we just get rid of these man or woman suffixes and go for something like business person, a chairperson, right? Firefighter, male deliverer, or male carrier. So no gender is entailed with a job title. So these are the things that language has directly influence on what we practice and we think. Well, yeah, other ways that people distinguished expression like job titles. Rather than having the suffixes, people added words like male or female in front of job titles. A common example may be the soldier. People think it's masculine. And if it's a female, many people don't question, oh, she's a female soldier, instead of she's a soldier. Similarly, a nurse, right? Many people think that nurse is women's work, nursing at the hospitals. So people say he's a male nurse, but if it's a female, people don't say she's a female nurse, right? So what does this do? Similar to that suffix of man and woman that we just saw, these kind of expressions actually limit the potentials of that job, what the job encompasses in terms of gender. So, for example, for a woman to become a soldier, people may think it's not normal, right? Or it's not traditional. So these kind of judgments start circulating because we do have this practice, right? So in fact, gender neutral writing, like council person instead of councilman and councilwoman, it can be used in other parts of our language practice. I took this example from website of the academic writing webpage from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. But this is just one example. There are many out there. You can Google search and people try to push for gender neutral writing. So at this writing center at the university, they suggest students to use they instead of he or she to be gender neutral. So the first example here, a student who loses too much sleep may have trouble focusing during his or her exam. And this is a kind of writing I think you've been trained how to do, right? But if you can use they, replacing a singular pronoun or that subject with a plural subject, you can use they. The second example is from the same website. The first example is a canonical use of they. So experienced hikers, right? So that's there's a grammatical agreement with they often dress in layers. The second example here is the example of singular they. So here, rental car company's representative, singular, is replaced with they will be holding a sign. So the anaphoric referent is a singular pronoun. I mean, a singular the person entailing lexicon, but it's replaced with they. And it has been accepted in many major places today too. So based on the idea of division of labor, earlier scholars of language and gender discussed descriptions of women's language. So something like this, hypercorrection, super polite forms. So, this scholar, Robin Lakoff from University of California, Berkeley, published a very famous monograph saying that, okay, women are like this. Notably, Lakoff said that women speak like this because we are dominated by men. So we cannot make strong statements. We tend to hedge. We tend to go around to avoid direct expressions. Oh, something had to start. So this was the start of the field of language and gender. And we are very grateful for Professor Lakoff's findings, but it actually relates to a sweeping stereotype. One of the things she found was the color terms. She said women use more color terms than men. Is it true? So you must have seen something like this before. When you see a chart like this, yeah, it looks like women has more color terms than men, but this also looks like a product of modern day marketization strategy, because men are capable of using a diverse color terms according to subtle differences in shades too, right? Now I'm going to show you another example of color terms. So this is a painting tile example. So both male and female painters, well, paintings usually associated with men more, right? So what is it? Is that, yeah, men are highly capable of distinguishing color hues. It's not like, women have more capacity. It's not. So why is person like Professor Lakoff said women use more color terms? Well, it's probably because that's what, the media and marketization scheme tell us. Yeah, so far so good. Yeah, I'm gonna then move on to show you another example of gendered language use. It's difficult to give straightforward example with English. So let me use my native language. Oh, okay, a moment, please. Yeah, good. Japanese. Yeah, so Japanese is known to have a clear distinction between male and female language. So if you don't know, anybody know Japanese? 日本語がわかる人いますか? いませんか? Okay, good. Yeah, so if you know Japanese, that's good. If you don't know Japanese, that's also good, right? I'll tell you. So in Japan, people tend to say that men's language have a coarse sentence final particles like ze or zo. So in a context like this, at the sports event, the male cheerleaders, they will cheer katsuzo, right? Katsuze with the ze, zo particle at the end of the sentence. Katsu means win. So they're just cheering, let's win. Is this really a male language then? We'll look at female case. Well, women tend to have different sentence final particles like wa, wayo, right? So at the sports event cheering, if women say katsu wa yo or katsu wa, it sounds katsu wa yo. Oh, it's not so forceful, right? Katsuzo, yes. Katsu wa yo, really? Right? So there's this kind of, the difference in the forcefulness, elocutional force of the language. So it's more expected to say katsuzo for both men and women in this context. So when you think this way, I presented sentence final particles zo, ze, wa or wayo, with the division of female male language. Let me give you the same example in different way. I'm gonna play a clip I took from a video game. The first example, the player Chun-Li, she says, let's go. さあ、行くわよ。So let's play this.
Chun-Li,
さあ、行くわよ。
Right, I'm gonna play it one more time.
Chun-Li,
さあ、行くわよ。
So this is わよ, right? The next example is a male particle, also saying the same thing, 行く, go. So let's go. So this person says, let's go, Kurama. Kurama is the name of the dog that you see in the video. But so he's saying, let's go, 行くぜ, right?
行くぜ、クラマ。
I'm gonna play it one more time.
行くぜ、クラマ。
So, yeah, if we wanted to distinguish these sentence final particles according to gender, it can. But then, again, it's limiting, isn't it? So if you are a woman and use they or zo or vice versa, people think it's not normal. Is it? Right? So somebody like Eleanor Ox from UCLA, she studied sentence final particles in Dixcal model. So what she means is that something like ze and zo or wa or wayo directory indexes. They have for ze, zo, coarse or forceful intensity, as opposed to wa or wayo, soft or delicate intensity. Therefore, they are indirectly understood as male and female voice. What does this help us to think about language use?
Chun-Li,
Okay, good. Now, I'm going to summarize what we have discussed thus far briefly, right? So, I have discussed what language has to do with gender and gender essentialism. So it's essential to decide, okay, this particle is for men, this particle is for women. So to avoid essentialism, I suggested maybe we can start practicing just getting away from gendered expressions when we can, right? So then stop, circulating ideas like women are like this, men are like this, if it's not necessary. But there is a strong trend, right? We are surrounded by media that loves to make dichotomous gender. It sells. It does, right? So when you, I use this example often, but when you think about, do you know Mickey Mouse? Yeah, you know Mickey Mouse's girlfriend, right? So between these two mice, who is more colored? Who is more marked? Mickey Mouse doesn't have a makeup, right? He may be just a plain mouse, right, in a tuxedo, right? Minnie Mouse, her feminine features highlighted. Same thing happens with Donald and Daisy, right? So women are always marked in this context. So you see how it sells, right? So these things can be used to boost up their, the merchandise sales. And this is a naturalized ideology that boys are supposed to be like this, girls are supposed to be like this. So we are surrounded by media and naturalized ideologies. And this is one of the reasons why we need to study linguistics, in particular language, gender, and sexuality, so that we can make our own judgment about validity of given information about matters as basic as gender and sexuality. Naturalization processes take place with hegemony. That means nobody questions this is strange. It's a well-accepted ideology that people understand as a commonsensical or natural. Up to now, to buy into the convention, I have used pink for women, blue for men, and it's kind of naturalized, right? So if it's the opposite, combination, people may feel it's not really matching. Many people indeed believe that it's natural for baby girls to wear pink and baby boys to wear blue. But is this really natural? There's nothing natural biologically about this. So it's a fabricated information, right? So people expect to naturalize ideas about gender and sexuality from a very young age, especially due to media. As a result, people become judgmental about how women and men are supposed to be, behave, and speak. This idea of reinforcing connection of a specific type of character with specific pattern in media further creates image labels based on oversimplified and generalized traits of the ideologized gender characters. So Disney princesses are good examples. I'm sure many of you are familiar with this, right? While it looks like, well, they are celebrating women of all races, really, they all look the same, the body type, the makeup, the hair. It's beyond accuracy. There's no way, the average women look like this. No. So like the Cinderella, to have the body type like this is less than 5% of population in the world. Most of the people who look like this come from Scandinavia too. So it's not accurate to put that, the body image onto somebody like Mulan from China, Jasmine from Middle East. They cannot be possibly the same height too, right? So this is actually not a celebration, but it's typecasting. So this kind of image makes it very difficult for people who don't really conform to this idea. They don't want to be like this, or they're not interested in this. Then world becomes more difficult for those people. Now, I know our lecture is ending in a little bit. I wanted to play. My alarm is going to go on. I'm gonna just stop it here. Okay, I'm gonna play a video. It's about 3 minutes, but I'm gonna most likely show you a minute and a half or so. So let me do this.
Hi, Erin.
Hi.
Okay, so I'm gonna just give you some actions to do. I just do the first thing that comes to mind. Show me what it looks like to run like a girl.
My hair.
Show me what it looks like to fight like a girl. Now throw like a girl.
Aww. My name is Dakota, and I'm 10 years old.
Show me what it looks like to run like a girl. Throw like a girl. Fight like a girl. What does it mean to you when I say run like a girl?
It means run fast as you can.
So do you think you just insulted your sister?
No. I mean, yeah, insulted girls, but not my sister.
Is like a girl a good thing?
Actually, I don't know if it's a bad thing or a good thing. It sounds like a bad thing. It sounds like you're trying to humiliate someone.
So when they're in that vulnerable time between 10 and 12, how do you think it affects them when somebody uses like a girl as an insult?
I think it definitely drops their self-confidence and really puts them down, because during that time, they're already trying to figure themselves out. And when somebody says you hit like a girl, it's like, well, what does that mean? Because they think they're a strong person. It's kind of like telling them that they're weak and they're not as good as them.
And what advice do you have to young girls who are told they...
So I think I'll end it here, the video, because I have some questions for you, right, about this. Of course, this is a commercial, so there's a lot of problems with this too, but I think the gist of the idea that they presented makes sense to discuss what's really going on. Well, people who acted in an insulting manner against the girls are now just realizing, oh my goodness, what did I do, right? Only after they were pointed out what's really going on. So, okay, here, as a linguist, I'm interested in lexical term girl here. So let's, if you don't mind, we can talk about what is the word that lexical item girl doing in this video here. It may be too abstract for us to think. So let me say, okay, instead of girl, how about it were like a man, or like a boy, or like a woman? What is this about the girl that works to be an insult? What do you think? Okay, I cannot really go around, so I'm sorry. May I ask you? Yes, yes, yes. It's okay. So let me ask you. Okay, don't make me come up there. So what's the difference if you say like a boy as opposed to like a girl? What's the difference for you? There is a difference, right? So the difference is that if it's a boy, if people ask you to run like a boy, do you think those the fake audition people would react in the same way? Probably not, right? So thank you very much. Yeah. So that is our experience with the word girl that's motivating us to do this. So it's the language, right? That's at work to do this kind of a naturalized behavior. So that's the question I put next. So do you think there is a naturalization in this video? Oh, they naturalized that. In the first half that we saw, like a girl is naturalized to be like doing things in a half-baked way or not 100%. But then when you ask individuals who identify as girls, they say, well, we don't know why. It sounds like a bad thing, but we are doing what we are asked to do. So the term girl, it happens too. I'm sure you have heard, or somebody had, I hope somebody, people didn't tell you, but I'm sure somebody might have told you that, oh, be like a boy or be like a girl. Don't be like a girl, don't be like a boy. What does it mean? Well, if people tell me don't be like a man, I cannot be a man, possibly. So this is more of a metaphorical expression, right? So people are metaphorically maybe insulting me. People say, oh, she's like a man. It doesn't really, it sounds like an insult to me too, right? It works the opposite way. So what does this do is we are using these gendered lexical items to further reinforcing dominant ideology that women are supposed to look like this, men are supposed to look like this, right? So then this stereotyping, is related to the language. This is a very question that I put in the last here, right? To see the power of language, how we practice every day without thinking very much. And there's a lot of more additional information added onto a, be like a boy, be like a girl. One of my students told me that his grandmother scolded him from young on that he cannot take spicy food. But grandmother said that you're a boy, you should be able to eat spicy food. So he said he stopped visiting grandmother because he cannot tahan, right? So like that. So we talked about girls, but this kind of judgmental preconceptions are not easy for by all means, men either. Right, so I'm gonna move on and end the presentation quickly, but this is my last example. Well, this was published in 1994 when it first came out. It became, I guess, a bit controversial, but today we see this kind of stuff all over the place, right? At the Chinese New Year, I mean, women in a red underwear like this at the bus stop, you know, the advertisement. So it's been so naturalized. People don't think this is so sensitive anymore. But what does this mean? Hello, boys. What is this advertisement is doing to naturalize women in a context? First, we talk about women, right? So women are supposed to wear bra. Well, people started wearing bra for more functional purpose, right? So it will make it easier for women to, move around and things, that's different for men. But here, the advertisement is not really talking about functionality of bra wearing practice, right? It's saying that the product is going to help you with social skills at most. So it's naturalizing that, okay, women, you dress up sexy and you go find men, right? So how about men then? You see this, if you're a guy and if you don't like women like this, then how? But the advertisement is actually telling guys too that, oh, if you see women like this, you're supposed to like them. You should, be happy. So this kind of ideology is, very strongly ingrained in our society. So thank you for listening to me today. I wanted to share with you why study language, gender, and sexuality, so we can avoid making sweeping generalizations. Not all women fit in the generalizations based on men's or women's language use. So when Lakoff said women speak politely, well, people tend to think I'm polite because I'm Japanese. There are many rude Japanese people. You should watch out. Yeah, don't let us fool you. Yeah, we can be very, very rude. But so these are the assumptions, right? In the beginning, I said many people think that, oh, I teach at the Japanese department because I'm Japanese. Why did you think so? I don't want to say this is a stereotype, but it's a assumption you make with a given information, right? So there are good use and bad use. It's stereotyping type of a practice cannot always result in a bad way, but if we make just defining statement and don't give chance to other possibilities, that's when things become more problematic. Right? Gender differences in language use are not always universal either. So not all women speak in the same way, vice versa. And gender differences should be grounded in specific speakers. So not looking at the cohort of Singaporean women in their 20s, their 30s. So we should stop that. We should look at people who practice the language use in specific perhaps smaller communities or individuals, right? So that we can celebrate diversities, right? So to critically observe everyday influence of naturalized ideologies, it takes time for us to, sit back and think about. So there are a lot of examples we didn't talk about. This is like, just a little bit about the field of language, gender, and sexuality, but there are a lot to, a study that we have to keep working on, right? All right, so with that, I'd like to end that presentation, and I will take any questions or comments if you have.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Dr. Hiramoto, for your talk. Now, if you have any questions, please feel free to use one of the mics along the aisle. But maybe to get us going, we do actually have a question that came in online, which is a great example of a question that might you might get in a class, where you're talking about this. So this question says, are cultures that don't make gender distinctions in job titles less sexist?
But that's a good, okay. I guess superficially, big scale item wise, yeah, I guess it's less marked, less sexist, you may say. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that it's a great example of something that comes up and allows us to talk a bit more about the world that is around us, which is, I think, what we try to do at FASS as well. Okay, we have a couple of questions as well. The name of the course in order to study a module similar to this masterclass, I guess, would be English language. So you would be able to come in and major in English language and meet, of course, Dr. Hiramoto. We have a question also about this module, and I guess about the topic in general, about queer studies and analyses. Would they be touched upon in NUS or?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm representing our university, so I'm being very careful here. But the issues such as queer studies or LGBTQ the movements, it's very important for us. I didn't have the time to go into why it's important and how we deal with this. There are actually classes in communication and new media. Dr. Michelle Ho has a class on media and gender language. Dr. Tracy Skelton from geography department, she offers classes like this too. And the Malay studies, they have courses on gender and sexuality. So yes, of course, I'm happy to talk about this, and there are other people who like to talk things like this.
Yeah, so I think especially now that we're going into CHS as well with a wider kind of more multidisciplinary kind of approach also, that's something that maybe we'll see a bit more often in studies. A question here about minoring in gender studies. Will minoring in gender studies cover some of these topics?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So question asking you to share a little bit about how you got interested in this particular topic of gender and sexuality.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna make this a bit personal, right? So I would say I grew up in I'm much older than most of you, right? So when I grew up, I didn't really fit in a pattern. I come from a rather unusual family background. So many people think that, Japanese family, you have parents and you have grandparents and all this, normative family. I grew up without a father. My family was very underprivileged, right? So I know how it is to feel hungry when I want to eat. I mean, I hope many people are not experiencing things like this today, but it was like that for me. So yeah, I go to school. I was a bit different, mostly because my family was poor. So my friends will be bringing in Japan, right? The Sanrio, like Hello Kitty, stationaries, and all this. I didn't have one. I will instead draw my own Hello Kitty on playing the notebook and bring it to school because I wanted to fit in. Then my friends will say, "Oh, that's fake," right? So then I didn't have time to cry. I had to go home and start cooking my miso soup and make rice. I have a younger sister to take care of. So like that, like Disney princess, I didn't want to be like that. I wanted to be able to self-sustaining. I wanted to get skills. I wanted to get a job to support me and a family. So then that was my experience of how, wow, if you want to be like that, there are so many, you have to put makeup on and all this, the fashion. I didn't really fit into that. So that's how I started becoming interested in telling people that it's okay not to fit in if that's what you wanted to do. And if I may add that little bit too, right? So after talking to me like this, you may say, so what's actual real life implication about this? What can you do with a job, your career perspectives? I'll tell you, your career perspective as a parent, knowing this information, don't you think it will be helpful? Telling your children not to believe whatever the media tell you, right? Because you don't want them to blindly follow what other people say, this is good, this is bad. You want them to think, right? Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Prof. Maybe to round us off, there's another question here about transgender and gender non-conforming communities. How would they affect or be affected by concepts of gender naturalization?
Very good question. So many people are familiar with transgender people. So these so-called gender dysphoria people in Singapore, right? Non-binary people are the people who, androgynous people. I mean, a lot of people, more people than we think are born with ambiguous genitalia. So that many people have biological condition to feel that way too. So those who don't feel they belong to a specific gender. So what do these people do in my field? You might have seen name tags saying that, okay, my name is Mie and my pronoun is she, or my pronoun is he. My pronoun is she and they. So she is me, my cis hetero woman, right? Womanhood. But they is because I want to bring the gender neutral practice into the society. So my allyship to be more inclusive. Yeah. So gender neutral pronouns are a very important topic, and I guess that will be the academic answer to that question.
Thank you. Okay, sorry. So maybe just one last one to kind of zoom out from the content of our talk today, which I think would be helpful for people here who are maybe just interested in certain topics like this. And if you're coming in as a student at CHS, so the question is asking about whether there are elective modules for this course. So maybe if I were to kind of reframe that a little bit, are there students who are not maybe English majors who would be able to come in and do a course like this, and if they're interested in this kind of topic?
Well, there is I can only speak for English department because that's what I know. I mean, there's a level 2000 class, I think, open for people, anybody, to come and take. And they do cover a large portion of social linguistics. So it will talk about other things too, but among other things, a topic like this is included. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Hiramoto. Yeah, could we just show her our appreciation?
Thank you.
Now, if you have any further questions, you can always look for them on, or you can find out more information on our website. So that's chs.nus.edu.sg. Yeah, chs.nus.edu.sg. Or you can also drop an email to askchs@nus.edu.sg. Yeah. So we are going to draw this session to a close. Once again, thank you for joining us. Now, if you have pre-registered